Welcome to the second season of Under the Onion Skin, the podcast to get closer to independent animation directors and get to know some behind the scenes of their short films. My name is Giulia Martinelli, and each time I talk to a different director about an animated film they made. With this podcast, I hope to be able to capture a glimpse of what I love mostly about film festivals, to have something to listen to when we're back to our regular lives and desks, but most of all, to celebrate beautiful films, talented artists, and storytellers. Welcome to Under the Onion Skin. Hi, in this episode we are once again at Fantoche Animation Festival in September 2024 in Baden, Switzerland. There I met with Michael Heindl to chat about his experimental short Surface Séance. In this episode, among other things, we talk about experimental animation, collecting material in the city as a sort of performance, and working with photos and adding the sound at the end. Enjoy. Yes, so the idea is for me to just capture a little bit of informal conversation as if we just, and that's the reality, we just met at the festival and we chat a little bit. So I hope you don't feel the pressure of, a Q&A on an official stage or that kind of thing.
No people who can ask silly questions.
Yeah, exactly. I like that. And the idea is to capture a little bit of that. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very happy that we have the chance to chat a little bit. Is it your first time at Fantoche?
Yes, it's my first time at Fantoche, and it's also my first animation film, actually. So, I made a lot of films, but so I had this idea for this specific project.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm very lucky that the film was selected here for this.
Yeah, and
Fantoche.
You said it's your first animation film, but you made more before. What kind of films did you work on?
It's like, it was a film with a conventional camera, I would say. So it's actually, I'm from the field of fine arts. I studied painting, and at some point I decided to work a lot with or in public spaces. And so I started with filming actually when I started to do actions or interventions in a public space or with public environments. And so I thought that film would be the best option to capture this or to document it. And that's somehow how I ended up with film, and then it got more and more sophisticated, and the concept got more and more specifically made for film projects. So also the film that you see now is a project that it's based on a phenomena that's also very common in public spaces, on public transports, but you also have it on all kind of industrial slick surfaces, like on your smartphone, for example, or your laptops. And it's this body prints that our bodies, consciously or unconsciously just leave on this surface. That's the traces we leave behind ourselves. So every place we enter, we leave our traces there. And that was the starting point. And with this phenomena, I tried to make a film. It's something that is happening that you can see everywhere.
I really enjoyed it. Like watching the film, you go through all these prints and fingerprints. And it's in the beginning, maybe you wonder, what is this? And then the more you proceed with the film, the more you understand.
That was the idea, to not show it in the first moment what it is, to make it a little mysterious. But the thing is, so it's based on actual photographs of these body prints. So I walked around for like 2 months and collected these prints, and then the actual cutting process was bringing this huge collection of photographs into the right order. And so I had different types of these prints, and I tried to bring them into the right order to make a story out of it.
Yeah, and where did you collect them? Like around the city, in public transport?
Yes. It was actually all made in Vienna. So it's like everywhere where I found them. It's like always, if you have a certain concept, then you're very aware of this thing that you're working with, and you find them everywhere. You
Yes.
can't stop looking for this.
That's true. Yeah. So you
Signs.
didn't create them on purpose. You really
No, it was I really collected them, and of course then I had to work on them with Photoshop to bring them into the right shape, that they're all like have the same shade of color and
Yeah.
the same black background.
But that's why I was imagining you creating them on purpose, because in the end you have to have a cohesive look.
Yeah, that's of course I had to sometimes change the background a little bit to bring them into the same shape, that it's not too unruhig or too hectic or
Okay, yes.
yeah.
And is it hard to I mean, if you see a fingerprint on a glass, it's not so easy to capture it.
Exactly, that's the tricky thing. I built a kind of shield. It was so the tricky thing is, if you try to photograph like a mirroring surface like glass, you're always mirroring yourself.
Right.
So the only way to not mirroring yourself is if you hide behind a black surface somehow, and to bring to enlighten it, or to illuminate it from a certain position. And so I made a shield with a black fabric on it that is not mirroring, and there was a very small hole for the objective of the camera. And I had 2 lamps on both sides of this shield.
Wow.
And with this thing I was walking around.
So you had a portable set.
Exactly.
You were going around like a sort of detective, capturing fingerprints.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I did. Yeah, and this also, people had a lot of fun with it. They sort of like,
exactly, that was.
They were talking to me, and sure, that's always part of working in a public space. Yeah, to get in touch with other people.
I like that. It was almost as a a live installation.
Yeah, it's always this performance part of it. It's always also important for me to
I wish you had someone next to you recording that to capture the work in progress, because it sounds like an interesting part of.
Yeah, there was no one who would do that, because it was so many hours to do this. So the funding was not big enough to.
But yeah, I imagine
to pay another person.
Yes, a very nice part of the process.
Yeah, and it's always. I like to work like this. I also do it uncommissioned, so I just. When I do my projects, I look for a place and I just do it. Go there, have a concept, and
that's nice. And how long did this collection part take?
I think 3 months or something. So the thing is, once you start and first, it's always an experiment. You try out, is it working? Can you work with this? Can you realize this concept? And then you say, okay, it's working, but it's a lot of work. And then you're in the middle of this process, and you can't turn around and go back. You just have to finish it, and then you do the whole thing.
Yeah, and I like, fingerprints are something very personal.
Yeah.
And I like how going out in the world and you manage to capture this little detail from strangers and bring it into a film.
It's not only fingerprints, it's also like with every part of our bodies. If we touch something, we leave this
skin print.
Skin prints, oily, whatever.
Was it summer when you did it? Maybe it helps.
Summer would help. This summer it was so crazy hot in Vienna, and I had extremely nice prints everywhere, like head prints, and everything was sweaty, and it was a little disgusting, but
but fascinating.
Yeah, fascinating. Yeah, but the film is over. No, I did it in early spring, I think, 2021 or something.
Yeah.
2022. Well, I'm not sure. No, last year. It was last year. Yeah, it was last year, actually. Yeah. So, sorry, there's so many projects.
No worries. And I'm also imagining, because it's based on pictures, like still images, you add then to create a sound out of nowhere. How did you proceed for that?
The sound, So as I said, it was my first animation film. It was also the first time that I cooperated with a sound designer, because usually I just use the off sounds that are around. Yeah. So I don't like to add something that is not there. But yeah, here of course it was not possible because there was no sound. It's based on pictures. So I worked together with Flora Rajakovic. She's now finishing at the Film Academy in Vienna, studying sound design, and yeah, she just did a great job. We met one afternoon to have a coffee together, and I told her about the project and told her what I could imagine or what it could be like. And she said, okay, she made her marks. Oh, okay, so I don't know if she gets anything of this confusing stuff that I'm telling her. And yeah, 1 month later, I got the result, and I was very happy. It just fits. Yeah.
So you sent her the final.
I had the final project. Everything was done.
Yeah.
Gave it to her, and she made.
Oh wow! But so you had a sort of rhythm in mind before starting working on sound.
Yeah, I knew that I need some sound designer to work over it, but I was not sure how this could be realized and what could be the base of this thing. And but she immediately had some image in her head what it could be, and
that's great.
Yeah, so if you need a good sound designer, can give her contact. Yeah, she's very good.
Yeah, I think it's very nice and crucial when you find a great collaborator.
Yes.
In this case, sound design, but it could be anything.
Of course.
And you understand each other, or they bring to the table something extra.
She had her ideas, I had my ideas, and we just met up.
Yeah.
We met in the middle.
That's nice.
No, there was not much, how to say, to negotiate or whatever. It just worked out, yeah.
That's great.
Mm.
And in terms of reaction, did you already travel a lot with this festival? With this film?
Yeah, it was played on some festivals. So also in Oberhausen, for example, and Austrian festivals. I personally did not travel so much with this film so far. So it's actually here. It's the first time that in out of Austria that I'm following the film.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I hope you get some nice. I don't know if you had the chance already to talk to someone.
Yeah, we just had this artist brunch, and so the people.
Right.
Yeah, we had some.
Because as you said, it's your first animation film, so I wonder how is it for you to attend animation festivals or to meet animators?
Yeah, it's a new thing for me, a new experience, definitely. Yeah, but yeah, we'll see. I'm very curious. I just arrived yesterday night, but I'm very curious. So what I saw so far is very inspiring, very colorful, and it's very locker, easygoing, relaxed moods or vibe compared to maybe other festivals where all kind of films are played. So.
And are you planning more animation in the future?
I have some ideas with this kind of methods, but I always try to not do the same things over and over again. I try to also
experiment,
challenge myself and experiment. But there are some ideas. I'm not sure if because this kind of technique it's so much work, and I'm not sure if I will do this crazy work again.
I mean, I understand both the experimental part. It's nice to try new things and to challenge yourself. And also I understand that sometimes a process is very tiring and you feel like maybe next time not. But, depends also how much time it passed since you finished it. Sometimes you need a break.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, it's also if you stay in a process, you start to get better because, of course, I now see the mistakes I did and the things I could have made better. And if you see the reactions of an audience, you always have the feeling, okay, I could have cut this part out or changed this thing a little bit. Yeah, and that's.
I mean, it's always like that. I
Yeah.
feel you always could have done it differently, could have done it better, and always when you finish a film, you don't want to watch it anymore.
Yes, I hate
So I
it.
think it's normal.
Yeah.
That's totally, very, very common as a comment.
Mm.
Uh,
So you have the same experiences.
yeah, I think it's for everybody, especially in animation, I feel, because the process is so long. You are so much into the project for years, and then when you are out of it, first of all, you don't want to see it anymore, and second, it's been so long since you started that you feel like you moved on.
Yeah, sure.
It's normal, I guess.
You want to move on.
Yeah. But
That's normal.
I mean, I think it's supposed to be a process, like a journey. You don't have to, you move on, you move to the next project, you move to the next thing that spark your interest, and it's a research, really.
Yeah, sure. It's it's a research, and usually also during this process, new ideas are coming up, and it's always you're always moving somewhere.
And about this, I was wondering, how did this start? Like, how did you decide I'm going to collect these prints, these skin prints?
It's extremely banal. I usually have my notebook with me, like an analog notebook, and I have this one sentence. I know when I did this, it was like in a long train ride during the night, and I was sitting beside the window, and there was this very disgusting print beside my head, like for 4 hours, and I thought, what the fuck, yeah. And then I thought, okay, it's interesting thing, and as you see them everywhere, you have these black backgrounds, and then you have this very clear form on this black background. And I thought, okay, this could be a starting point for something. And that was actually it. And maybe also somehow connected with, during Corona, we all had this like very obsession with surfaces that get touched by other people, and we're very aware of not touching surfaces. But actually, I don't want to talk about this anymore. But maybe subconsciously this played some kind of role.
I didn't think about it, but it's true. If you did it in 2021, there must have been some.
Yeah, it started. Yeah, started maybe in 22, and then I started in 22 and beginning 23.
Yeah, okay.
And then it took me like.
But I really like how you said it started. It was night, and then you kind of recreated this black background for your project to kind of bring the prints out. Yeah,
I mean, I did not recreate it. I was looking for this same thing, like usually in a subway, or also wherever you have that's what you need, because sometimes you see some kind of logos flickering in, and that's if you stop it's always so that the black background was necessary to that was if there was a print without a black background, I could not use it, because it would be too disturbing inside the film. So I needed this black background, and I needed a clear print.
Yeah.
So that
night when you had the first intuition, you found out that in order to see them, you needed this. You need
this homogeneous situation to make it work, because otherwise it would be too unstable and too.
Yeah, I find it really a fascinating process. How you saw it, you got interested, you found a way, and you started to collect them. Like really like a detective. I like that.
Yeah, like a detective. Yeah. If I would have known how much work it would be at the end, maybe I thought, okay, it would do something else that it's easier to do, because some projects I finish like in 1 hour or something, and I have a film that I can show. But here was.
But maybe sometimes it's good that you did, like, that you've been tricked, because then you can make such films.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you couldn't start it.
Yeah, probably. And it's you never know which concept is then like making its way.
Yeah.
And there are so many ideas and notes, but some I would never realize, although they would be easy to do, and others, they just appear. I guess it's same for you if you work or
definitely yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you like onions?
Onions. I use onions for most of my meals. Yeah. Why are you asking?
Well, it's the final question of the podcast, which is called Under the Onion Skin. And now I'm thinking, because onions make you cry, or at least most of people cry.
Yeah, but you need the right knife, then you will not cry.
The right knife?
Yeah, if the knife is sharp enough, usually you can cut it without.
Tell me more. I don't know that.
Yeah, it's if you have the knife has to be extremely sharp, then this gas that makes you cry is not coming out so much. So it's.
But you also need maybe a special angle. How do you know?
I tried it out. So if the knife is not sharp, you will rather cry than if it's more sharp.
Ghost.
Yeah, then you rather squeeze it or
Could be.
then it's.
I like that because everyone has a different
Okay.
And this is new. I never heard that.
Okay.
So, yeah, but because you're not an animation person, maybe you don't know the reason why I'm asking this. It's the title is Under the Onion Skin. It's a little bit of a word game. Because the onion skin in animation, I don't know if you know, it's this tool where you can see the frame before and the frame after. You have some transparency.
Yeah, no, I did not know this term, but okay.
Yeah,
all right.
So that's why.
Yeah.
And under the skin, because it's like this interview, it's supposed to be like more colloquial and so. But now that I'm talking about onions and onion layers and onion skin with you, I also feel like it makes sense with this film because there is a lot of transparency in your film as well, because you're playing with layers as well.
Yeah.
You had to work with glass, which is not an easy material to work with. And before you also said it's hard not to get your own reflection. Sorry, I'm getting very philosophical here, but I like the fact that you were taking pictures of strangers' prints, say. So. But at the same time, it could be you are reflected in it. So it's both film with strangers, but also with you and your point of view on that.
Yeah, sure. But this point of view, okay, this is always there. If you capture something with a camera, there is always someone who is behind the camera.
But in this case, with the glass,
bringing it somewhere,
there is the risk of having a glimpse of your reflection.
Of course, of course. Could be a nice idea for a new film to work with your reflections. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm glad if I gave any. But yeah, thank you for this chat.
Yeah, thank you very much.
How did you like the chat I had with Michael? I hope you'll check his work out following the link in the show notes. That's it for today. This was Under the Onion Skin. Thanks for tuning in once again, and until next time with another director and a short animated film. Ciao.